Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where...
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like...
Fucker! You fucker! Hey, fucker!
Oh!
Huh? What the f...
Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime. I'm your online voice for reviews of your choice, and this is another installment of BS Reviews. Today, I'll be doing one of my requested anime reviews. I apologize for not getting to the reviews that you guys have requested from me for some time now, but unfortunately, my schedule gets kind of, hazy sometimes with school and work and all that, and unfortunately, I don't always get the chance to review the things I want in certain order. Certain things just come up, or I find certain things at different times, so I was unable to get to this review quickly, but I hope the person doesn't mind. The movie I'll be reviewing today is 5 centimeters per second, and it was requested by Christiandiaz. This is a response to my review on Ponyo when we were comparing different directors from Hayao Miyazaki to 5 centimeters per second's director Motoko Shinkai. He also wrote the film. It was licensed by ADV Films, and this is also from the creator who created the very famous and very sad anime short film Voices of a Distant Star. It stars David Matranga as Takaki Tuno, Hilary Haag as Akari Shinohara, and Serena Varghese as Kanai Sumita. The plot of 5 centimeters per second. The story basically follows 2 people, well, mostly one, but the 2 people it follows are Tono Takaki and Shinohara Akari, who were very close young kids who grew up together in school. They were both kind of shunned and quiet, and since they stayed together a lot, they were kind of paired up and mocked by other children at school for being, lovers and whatnot. Over the years, though, they became more and more isolated from everyone and actually became closer to each other. Unfortunately, circumstances forced the 2 young lovers apart, and the film basically mainly follows Tono Takaki as he tries to maintain his relationship with Akari. But as the years go by, circumstances continue to make things more difficult, such as changing schools, changing jobs, and they see each other less and less and less. But Takaki still tries to remember all the times he spent with Akari, and try as they might, the 2 young lovers try as best they can to get back together, even though that life is changing for them and that people around them are changing too, including people who are in love with them, and it just basically follows their journey and dealing with life, isolation, and love. Review the plot. I really had no idea what the hell this anime was about when I was first requested to do this review. I mean, the title alone is very cryptic. They explain what it means right away when you see it, but I really didn't know what this is about, and I wasn't even aware that this was made by the same guy who made Voices of a Distant Star, which I saw, which was excellent. Now, having said that, right away I noticed a distinctive problem. This plot is very, very reminiscent of the Voices of a Distant Star plot. In fact, I almost thought this was a sequel or a prequel or something like that of Voice of a Distant Star because it has staggering similarities. This is good and bad in kind of 2 ways. On the one hand, it's extremely bad because I had no idea that this is the guy who made Voice of a Distant Star. Yet the minute I started to watch it, I can automatically say, this is just like Voices of a Distant Star. And the fact that that distinction is so noticeable to me, for someone who had no idea that Makoto Shinkai directed this and Voices of a Distant Star, makes it kind of bad because it makes it automatically distinguishable, or recognizable, I should say. And that's bad because it's hard to separate the 2 films from the same director. I mean, directors do have similar styles, but they usually do different things in their works. They try different things. On the other hand, though, it was very good because the nice thing about this film is that unlike most anime subjects where they deal with magical girls, aliens, robots, vampires, and stuff like that, this focuses solely on the development and fruition of a human couple. Just 2 people who are in love, just want to be together, and circumstances continue to pry them apart. The writing is absolutely magnificent. The dialogue is so sincere and deep that you swear that you'd be reading some kind of poetic novel or something. That's just how deep the writing goes. And I found it so unbelievably impressive that a simple tale of ordinary people trying to do the ordinary concept of just staying together could be so compelling, and that the simplest things that seem trivial to us in real life end up to become extremely compelling, deep, and dramatic. I could not believe how much this had me on the edge of my seat simply on the concept of Tono trying to get with this girl. And that just blew me away. Review the characters. Not only is this a very emotional-driven story, it also is a very character-driven story. And it's ironic to say that because the characters are actually extremely simple. Basically, their whole existence survives around this relationship. And from the way they talk, it's like that they can't live without each other. And they can't even function in any other aspect of life. They can't think or even do anything outside of simply being with each other. Everything revolves around that. And it helps, especially when you have a narration in the film, which this film does. They have good actors, and they sure as hell do. David Matranga was excellent. He played such a deep, sort of philosophical voice for this character. He made him sound sympathetic, charming, interesting, simple, dull, complex, all at the same time. And I was really impressed with that. Hilary Haag is an actress who I actually enjoy on quite a number of shows. I didn't think she was okay for this role at first, but as I listened to her more and more, she really got down with the part, and the more she spoke, the deeper and more emotional her voice became, and that's a true testament to a talented voice actress who can really get that deep into the characterization like that, and I was just blown away by that. Serena Varghese as Kanai Sumida, she was also very good. I mean, she told us more about herself and the way she spoke for the character than I think any other anime character ever has, because it's split up into story 1, story 2, and kind of story 3. It's more of the closing, wrap-up, epilogue kind of thing. But the way she was able to convey such, infinite amount of characterization through her voice alone and her words just impressed the hell out of me. So it was a really good cast. Review the animation and music. Animation was absolutely perfect. It was beautiful, mosaic, Picasso artist masterpiece, whatever you want to call it. It was absolutely incredible. It was gorgeous to look at in every conceivable way. The simplest scenery looked like a majestic paradise, and I could not believe my eyes when I watched this movie. It was spellbinding at how the simplest things, such as a cherry blossom falling to the ground, could look like a gorgeous scenery or a sunset or sunrise. And the music, very nice. Deep, simple, emotional. It wasn't overplayed, it wasn't overdone, they didn't get ridiculous with it. They knew when to use it, how much of the deep melody to use to make the scene work, and it just worked together beautifully. I've never seen a film as gorgeous as this. At least not for such a short film. I mean, usually the longer films make better use of this, but for just an hour, this just looks fantastic. Flaws about the film. As I said before, this is extremely, extremely hard to distinguish from Voices of a Distant Star. In fact, there are times it just practically screams it. And that's good in the sense that if you haven't seen Voices of a Distant Star, then this movie's going to be a perfect 5-star film for you. Unfortunately, I have seen Voices of a Distant Star. And that made this film basically kind of look like a copycat. I know it's the same director, but it was so close to the original film of Voices that I almost thought it was part of it, as I said before, and that's not good because it fails to separate the two films from each other. Plus, the story kind of ends on a rather confusing note. The whole point is about this relationship and where is it going to go, and when you finally find out where it goes, it just feels like, why did we bother sitting and watch this movie? It feels like it was a waste, like it was all for naught. It has nothing to do with whether the film has a happy ending or not. It just fails to give you any kind of closure, or it just basically, it's like when I said Requiem for a Dream. What was the point of watching this movie? It was just like, why would anyone want to watch that? It just, I mean, this is a good movie to watch, but it just makes you question why. That was my biggest problem with it. Final wrap up. 5 centimeters per second is a gorgeously beautiful film. It has acting of the highest quality and caliber and is painted with the most perfected of arts. The music is good. It's a great way to tell stories on just a simple human level without any extravagant aliens or robots or things. On the other hand, if you've seen Voice of a Distant Star, this is pretty much almost exactly the same thing, with just a different spin on it. And it's a shame because it's two movies that are so similar you could almost mistake them for each other, and that's great for if you haven't seen Voice of a Distant Star, but if you have, you've pretty much just seen the whole movie, and that's a problem because I hope this director can differ his style in the future. Bottom line, I give 5 centimeters per second 3 stars and a half out of 5. Well, that's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for listening, and bye for now.